What a disaster. I mean, look at the Elisaa tournament, guys. Havu going 2-0 directly, and Mouse and Complexity just sucked, and I don't know, Furia won the whole thing. I have nothing to say except that I was completely wrong, or how to say it, in the previous video I did, but it is what it is, and I got completely effed. So now I didn't receive any points, and I dropped down to 373, and we can see that top 10 is maybe out of reach for me now when it's only like 2 tournaments left, but I will still do my predictions. I'm still in a decent spot, so to speak, and I was a bit unlucky, but it is what it is. And with that said, we're going into BetBoom Dacha. We're going to talk about this one instead. And first off, we got Group A. Gamer Legion looked really shaky, not so good actually in the previous event. They was one of the teams losing to Havu. MIBR and BetBoom, I think they are pretty equal. MIBR is going upwards, but BetBoom maybe have some players that has higher skill ceiling, so maybe they got some players that could carry them to a win. But Cloud9, I see them winning versus Gamer Legion, but I don't want to say that either, because last time I said I was so certain that Havu was going out of the tournament and stuff, I was wrong, but I gotta say what I predict. So Cloud9, I think they will take the Group A, and MIBR, BetBoom, one of these teams will come out second. Now going into the harder group, of course Astralis now got Stabby, Yabi and Staven, and we don't know how Astralis will perform with these guys. Of course, very good individuals, and the ones that's left, Device and BlameF, especially these two guys, are very good, and Stair maybe a support guy. So they, on paper, they look like a phenomenal team. So they could be dangerous, a little bit of a dark horse of this tournament, or at least for the group. Now Furia, they did just win Elisaa, but I don't know. I still don't really got a convinced feeling of that Furia, like after that win. Oh, now they will keep on having this momentum. I can't actually pinpoint why that is, but they got some things to prove yet. And I think I saw an interview with Art or something that they feel like themselves that they are not done yet within the team. So therefore I'm not so sure about Furia. And going into looking at Spirit, I mean, still Donk or not to Donk this tournament, we'll see, guys, but they are definitely the dark horse. I mean, there are so many dark horses of Group B, like Virtus Pro also usually is a dark horse for me in tournaments, but many dark horses. But Spirit, I mean, they got a nice win streak going on, and they have proven that they are good against the top tier teams, and they start off versus Furia. I actually... my gut is saying that Spirit is winning over Furia. And Virtus Pro versus Astralis, I mean, I just can't predict which of these teams are going to win, but there are some nice odds on Virtus Pro, and Flit is absolutely dominating right now in Counter-Strike 2, so I feel like Spirit could make a 2-0 run, or I could be completely wrong. But with that said, I just go into the draft. But yeah, first we're going to look at the most picked players. I will do it a little bit different now, because if I was like in the top 10 or maybe close to the top 10, I would have one lineup. But now when I'm a little bit behind, I'm going to play a little bit more risky. I have nothing to lose, right? So I still am very convinced that Cloud9 will win Group A. Man, I just feel so wrong to say that I'm convinced that the team will win, because I was so wrong last tournament. But anyway, yeah, and many players here are picking Astralis, Yabi and Staven, of course, because they are cheap. Staven 205, but he's usually a star player, and Yabi like 205 up to 210, but he's now under 200. But I think I will skip Astralis for now, but usually I think I would go with Yabi and Staven this tournament, but we'll see. And of course many picks Chopper because of his cheap price tag. So with that said, guys, going into the draft, we got Electronic. I think that these prices are pretty fair. Axel is going up a bit, Boombla should maybe get a little bit cheaper, and Hobbit is like maybe where he should be right now, I would say. And Electronic has been a beast in Counter-Strike 2. Virtus Pro. Flit, really, really tempting for this price. I mean, Flit, Electronic both have been really good. After this video, I think I will compare them a little bit closer. But I want players from Cloud9, I believe, and Virtus Pro. They could very well go 2-0 in Group B, but we'll see. Norbert, great budget pick. I will skip Jamie for now, even though he's been great. Mir and Fame. I mean, those are reasonable prices, but nothing too exciting. Gaming Legion, I would avoid these. Maybe just get Kios like in a budget pick if you would like that. One of the most picked teams or players, and I get that. Device is now a silver player. Staven 205 and Jabi under 200. I get it. If I was close to the top 10, I would probably go for these players as well, just so you know. Because we're looking at value from like how a player will perform to his price. So looking at BetBoom here, I mean, they could be the second team to go out of Group A, and they have some reasonable prices. I mean, Kyron has a pretty high skill ceiling, and he's under 200, but I think I still would pick someone like Jabi instead. But if you're a little bit of a gambling guy, maybe you could go with Kyron. Furia, I personally would avoid these for now. Keserato is back at his golden frame. Here we got a nice team. I mean, last time I used Spirit, I wasn't getting too much points out of them, but I don't know, I still got some hope, and we got Donk. His rating is absolutely insane in Counter-Strike 2. I think and he's not in the most picked players, so I'm looking at this guy, and MIBR could go out second in Group A, but I'm not certain. With that said, guys, I think I'm going to Donk. And with that, I need a cheap player. And Chopper is a great choice because he's cheap and he's on Spirit. And I don't know, they could go 0-2, they could go 2-0, but I'm going for the Donk, man. So here we go. And Electronic and Hobbit. Now we got two from Spirit that I think will do the upset, so to speak. And picking it more safe on the Cloud9 picks here. And we got 180 left, and that's just room for one guy, and that's Drop. And if I'm lucky, he will go out second in Group A and keep me in the game. So here are the 1v1, and this is how it looks right now. I hoped I would end in the top 10. I really want to be the second, or rather the first player ever to reach the top 10 2 times, but that is still my goal. So I will have a bit fun of the last tournaments here in this season, and yeah, I hope for a better next season, but I will still try to do the last video of the last tournaments, or the last tournament. And yeah, guys, thank you. I appreciate all the support. Leave a like, comment, you know the drill. Bye bye.